This video is all about working out the volume and surface area of a sphere. So I have an old tennis ball here as my sphere, and I want to work out its volume and its surface area. The volume of a sphere is given by this formula, 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed, and the surface area of the sphere is given by 4 times pi times the radius squared. So for this sphere, for this tennis ball, the diameter of this tennis ball is about 7 centimetres. So if it's 7 centimetres all the way across, then its radius from the centre of the sphere to the outside will be half of 7, which would be 3.5. So to work out the volume, all I would do is I would use the volume formula, 4/3 times pi times the radius, which is 3.5, cubed. Type that into my calculator. I get 179.594 blah blah blah. To the nearest whole number, that's 180 centimetres cubed. So what I'm saying is I could fit 180 little cubic centimetres inside that ball. Surface area, so using the formula 4 pi r squared now. So 4 pi times 3.5 squared. Typing that into the calculator, I get this, and to the nearest whole number, that's 154 centimetres squared. Another example. Here I have a sphere. Its radius is 6 centimetres, and this time I want to work out the exact volume of this sphere in terms of pi, and I'm not allowed to use a calculator. So we're going to start off with the same formula, 4/3 pi times the radius squared. Now I can't use a calculator, so I need to think what 6 cubed is. 6 times 6 is 36, times 6 again is 216. Now I need to multiply that by 4/3. To do that, I'm first going to divide by 3. So 216 divided by 3 is 72. Then I'm going to times by 4. 4 times 72 is 288. And then not forgetting the pi. This 288 will get multiplied by that pi as well. I'm leaving my answer in terms of pi. So the volume, the exact volume of this sphere is 288 pi centimetres cubed. The surface area, similar idea. I've done 4 pi times the radius squared, so 4 pi times 6 squared, 4 pi times 36, and 4 times 36 is 144. So I get 144 pi centimetres squared. Let's look at some just two problem solving questions. Here, I'm told that the volume of a sphere is 300 centimetres cubed, and I want to find its surface area. Remember, the surface area is given by the formula 4 pi r squared. So if I want to work out the surface area, I first need to know the radius. So I need to use the volume to work backwards to get the radius. Then I'll be able to use this to get the area. So my first job here is to use this to get the radius. So I've taken my volume formula and made it equal to 300, and I'm going to rearrange that to make r the subject. So first thing, I've times both sides by 3. I'm then going to divide both sides by 4 pi. Then I'm going to take the cube root of both sides. And if I do that on my calculator, I work out that the radius is 4.1528 centimetres. I can now substitute that into my formula here to work out the surface area. So substituting that in here, I get my surface area. And the second the second problem solving question is this. I am told that this tank below here fills up at 100 litres every minute, and I want to know how long it takes to fill this container up completely. So I want to work out the volume of this. I am first going to work out the volume of the cylinder here. The top cylinder. I can see I've got a cylinder on top of a hemisphere. The cylinder, I know I can work out the volume of this by doing the area of the cross section, the area of this circle, so pi r squared multiplied by the length, multiplied by the height here. So pi times the radius squared. If the diameter is 1.4, then the radius is 0.7. So I'm going to do pi times 0.7 squared. That gives me the area of the circle, times by the height, times by 2. So that gives me the volume of the cylinder. I'm now going to focus on the hemisphere down here. So to do that, I'm first going to focus on the whole sphere. I'm going to imagine this is a whole sphere. I'll get my answer and divide it by 2. The radius of my sphere would be exactly the same, because if it's 1.4 here, it's going to be 1.4 across here. So this is going to be 0.7 meters here as well. Just to repeat that, if that's 1.4, then that's 1.4. Therefore, the radius of my sphere is 0.7. So I get the volume of the sphere like that. So the volume of the hemisphere, dividing that by 2, is that. I can now add these two things together to get the volume of the total shape. Now that's in meters cubed. I want to consider it in litres. I want to work out the volume of this in litres. Now I know that there are 1,000 litres in every 1 metre cubed. If you imagine a cubic metre in front of you, so imagine a cuboid in front of you where it's 1 metre across, 1 metre high, 1 metre back, you could fit 1,000 litres of water, 1,000 bottles, 1 litre bottles of water inside that cubic metre. So therefore, if I times this by 1,000, that will tell me how many litres there are in here. So times that by 1,000, we get this. And we know that this fills up at 100 litres every minute. So if I divide this by 100, it will tell me how many minutes it takes to fill that container. So dividing it by 100, I get 37.97 minutes. So basically to the nearest minute, it's going to be 38 minutes to fill this whole container.